Tensions increasing between the United States and Russian leaders in the wake of news that Russia interfered in last November's presidential election. According to U.S. intelligence reports, Russia President Vladimir Putin authorized extensive efforts to hurt President Biden's election bid. Earlier this week, in an interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, President Biden did not hold back on his opinion of the Russian leader.
So you know Vladimir Putin, you think he's a killer?
Mm-hmm. I do.
So what price must he pay?
The price he's going to pay, well, you'll see shortly.
After those comments, Russian President Putin recalled Russia's ambassador to Washington, and the taunting between the leaders continued, with Putin saying Biden should look in the mirror.
And you know, I remember in my childhood when we argued in the courtyard, we used to say, it takes one to know one.
At the White House news conference today, Jen Psaki said the Biden administration isn't concerned about the removal of the ambassador, noting that the American ambassador to Moscow is still in place. Joining us tonight to talk more about this situation is former U.S. ambassador to Georgia, Ian Kelly. I'd like to start with this challenge, essentially, from President Putin to President Biden, saying, I'd like to debate you on live online either Friday or Monday. Is that something that you see President Biden accepting or doing?
Not in my wildest imagination. First, thanks for having me on. No, I can't see the White House picking up that particular invitation or that particular cudgel. I think that what's at issue here is imposing costs on the continued malign activities and behavior of the Kremlin regarding our democratic processes. They did it in 2016, and they obviously weren't deterred by what we did after those incidents, and did it again in 2020.
What do you make of this type of rhetoric, though, between these two world leaders? I mean, I think on its face, it seems chilling, some of the back and forth that we're hearing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you hear this kind of very hostile rhetoric coming from a nuclear power, of course, it's a little disturbing. But the fact remains that this is really Putin's latest, whatever you want to call it, a gambit. I think is a way to try to distract from the news that everybody is seeing now about their interference in our elections, and we should not really, I think, give that much credence and really focus on deterring further actions like what happened last fall.
Tougher line from the Biden administration, certainly, than we saw in the Trump administration when dealing with Russia. Sanctions certainly on the table. When the president says a price will be paid, do you think that it would be anything further than sanctions at this point?
You know, first of all, I don't know the answer to that. I do think it's going to be, there are going to be actions which impose a cost and which will give the Kremlin pause before taking these kinds of hostile actions against our country in the future. I mean, that can be sanctions, that can be various political moves that we can make to try and isolate the Kremlin. But clearly, the Biden administration is on the hook to do something now.
Well, a lot of history between these two world leaders, and although it is very unlikely to happen, a live online debate would be interesting to watch as we move forward. But we'll see how this plays out. Ambassador to Georgia, Ian Kelly, former ambassador, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.